So we completed with our budgeting, variance analysis, and forecasting. Now let's quickly have a brief overview of the kind of report that we would prepare in FP&A. We've already seen how do we prepare the budget versus actual report. Now let's pick up the dashboard report. So in order to prepare the dashboard report, let me add a sheet by pressing the shortcut Shift F11. And let's decide what's the data that we would want to report in our dashboard. We'll go with the revenue this time. So revenue for we'll have the region, product category, and product. We'll take this entire information from the revenue detail tab. Let's report our Q1 budget numbers. Let's report our Q1 budget numbers with Q1 actuals. Let me link this. This is my revenue for budget. So that was my planned revenue, and this is my actual revenue. Let me start by making a pivot from this. I press the shortcut Alt N V sequentially in the same sheet. I choose the region, the budget, and the actual. So this gives me a region-wise breakup of budget versus actual numbers. Let me also make a chart from this. There's something that I can add to make my selection criteria more easy. That's called slicer. In order to add a slicer, I click on any part of pivot. The ribbon of pivot gets activated. I go to pivot table analyze and then click on insert slicer. Select the region option and then this gives me the slicer for region. What's the use of slicer? Say I want to filter just the east over here. Instead of doing it this way, I can just do it by a single click. I want to remove the filter. I click on this cross option and the filters are removed. Similarly, I want to select any two, say east and south only. I click on east, press control and then click on south. Now I can add another pivot. Let's make it here. This time my pivot will be from product category. So from product categories, what's the actual and budget numbers? I'll create another chart from it. Let it be the clustered bar chart this time. Add a slicer to it. Click on any part of pivot, go to pivot table analyze, click on insert slicer and then click on product category. My third pivot would be for product. So for different category of product, what's my budget and actual revenue? I create another chart. Let that be the pie chart. Add a slicer following the same steps. So my all three pivots and charts are ready, and my slicers are also ready. Uh, these slicers make my data more interactive. Now let me start designing my dashboard reporting page. So I'll add another sheet. If you remember, we talked about the KPIs. What should be my key performance indicators that I normally present to my stakeholders so that instead of looking at the entire data set, they can just have a brief look at the KPIs and see how the business is flaring up. For our case, let's say the business is revenue per unit, gross margin per unit, and net margin per unit. Budget, actual, and variance. So, as per my budget, my revenue would be 24.5 million divided by the total volume, which was sum total of this, whereas my act slash forecast number is revised revenue, which is 22.6 million divided by a sum total of the total volume. So this has fallen down slightly from 68.45 in budget to 66.19. This is my percentage. My gross margin will be 10 million divided by same volume, 30.10. As per act forecast, this would be 8 million divided by, as per act forecast, this would be 8 million divided by a sum of. Similarly, I'll calculate the net margin per unit. So I have the numbers ready with me. Let me make them slightly more presentable. I have the options to add the icons or images. So let's make use of that. Also, the charts that I created over here, let me move the slicer and the chart in my dashboard section so that I'm able to present the data. Now, these charts and the data that I've created over here is just for reference purpose. You can certainly change the data, change the charts. The idea of this entire working is to show you how to prepare and present the interactive dashboard reporting. More thing that you should be doing is you can link all these three slicers with one data set. So now what's happening is when you are selecting the data over here, only this chart is changing. And so each selection changes only its respective chart. You can right click on any of the slicer, click on report connections, and then check mark the remaining two pivots. You'll have to do this for the remaining two slicers also. But once you've done that, you'll see that now your entire data set is connected. So you want to see just the data for East. The remaining two charts will also be connected. If you want to see the East data for only the big category product, only the lemon. So you'll see all the three charts are interconnected. So that's how you can prepare the dashboard, which is interactive, presentable, and more pleasing to the eyes.